Doug Lehman, breaking it down in layman's terms. Today, I got a special guest, Lisa Dennis. Now, she is known as a true sales leader, a thought leader, but when it comes to value propositions, she owns the space for sales leadership in the B2B area. She's written a few books, value propositions that sell, and a whole lot more. Lisa, welcome.
Thanks, Doug. Happy to be with you.
Well, I'm glad you're here. We've got a chance to know each other virtually online. I've heard you speak, but you've put out a lot of content on webinars, especially value propositions from the standpoint that they sell. Now, you're an author of a book, Value Propositions That Sell. So how did you get started in really honing in on this set topic? Because you own that space.
I was a product manager back in the day, and I had the unpopular product, or as I like to call it, the little product that could. And I realized that not only did I had to message my customers and really dive into why do they care, but I also had to sell to my salespeople, which was a harder job. And it got me very, very focused on how do I create the right messages for very specific audiences. And it kind of took off from there.
Well, you talk about creating the right messages for the right audience, and you really hone in on the B2B sales space. Is that correct?
That is true. That is where I play.
And you play at all levels from Fortune 100s on down to solopreneurs, but it's got to be from that messaging standpoint. Now, you wrote another book that hones in on 360 perspective of the customer, because it's all good to have a value proposition that you think for yourself. It's got to resonate with your clients. I mean, that's what it's all about. And you really get into that.
I do. I keep telling people, you've got to think about your value proposition literally as a mirror. And when your buyer looks into it, quite frankly, they don't want to see your face. They want to see their own face. So value props that focus 100% on product or service or solution are not as engaging as the ones that focus on them. What are they experiencing? What are they trying to deal with? What are they trying to achieve? That's where you start.
That's where you start, but I've seen a lot of your presentations, and you, like I said, you hit every industry, but it's all about the customer's perspective, delivering value. And I think that's where we missed the mark in sales messaging a lot. And it's well covered in your book. Now, you're working on another book, I believe. And if you could give us a little insight on that, that would be awesome for our audience.
Sure. So the next book is called The Messaging Playbook, Aligning Messaging Between Marketing and Sales. Oftentimes, marketing creates a message that's kind of website driven, collateral driven, content driven. And salespeople kind of try to figure out their own message, what's going to stick with the customers and prospects they're working through. And often there's a divergence. It's not integrated and it's not consistent. And so this book is going to focus on the tools and the practices to create integrated messaging from the start so that all of your buyers and accounts are getting the same message, however they bring in your content. Whether it's digital, whether it's in a webinar, whether it's with a salesperson, so that it's a completely integrated, solid, buyer-focused message.
I'm looking forward to seeing that book and hopefully get an opportunity to do a video book review of that. I love the work that you're putting out.
I'd love to do that, Doug. That'd be great.
And one other thing is, I mean, with content, you're doing a lot with the Sales Experts channel. I see the schedule for 2021. Comment a little bit about these webinars. I mean, you have a webinar for every little industry not little, but every industry when it comes to value propositions. You're always honing in on sales messaging. How's that process going?
So I'm going to be launching a monthly show called the Messaging Workshop Live. And the focus of it is going to be, I'm going to be bringing in practitioners, both heads of marketing and heads of sales, to talk through what's working, what's not, to share some of their ideas and approaches in order to drive that message more directly to the buyers, and to do that in a more kind of, again, integrated but clear focus. So we'll be looking at various aspects of different types of messaging, various industries, and it's really going to be like a practitioner point of view, and to give you some real tools and tips in how to improve your messaging every month live.
And it's evergreen content that you're constantly putting out, because we have to have messages that are sales ready, more importantly, customer ready. Well, Lisa, it's been great having you on. Do you have any parting shots for our audience today?
I do. I think it makes a lot of sense for companies to get their messaging house in order for 2021. there's still a lot of uncertainty. There's still going to be a lot of challenge. So coordinating and solidifying messaging across marketing and sales has never been more important. Think about putting together a playbook so that everybody is singing the same tune in the same way and your buyers are hearing it loud and clear. That would be my advice.
Hearing it loud and clear. Make sure you check out Lisa Dennis and all her fine work, value proposition, sales leadership, and more. I want to thank our special guest, Lisa Dennis, and I want to thank you out there in layman's terms for social watching.